The movie depicts the story of the heroic rise and tragic fall of the world's first smartphone. It began in Waterloo, Ontario, in 1996, where best friends Mike Lazaridis and Doe Freegan co-founded a scrappy technology company named Research in Motion, RIM, which manufactures pagers and modems. But the business struggles. Mike Lazaridis and Doe Freegan went to make a sales pitch to a distracted executive of a company, Jim Balzilli, who barely pays attention to them as he is too busy plotting to become the director of the new division of the company he is working at, resulting in an unsuccessful pitch. They return to their company, which is more like a teenage boy's dormitory, where they prioritize fun, play games all day, horse around, watch movies, and somehow manage to do some work. They arrived at the company telling their workers about the outcome of the pitch, starting by saying they had good news and bad news. The bad news is the unsuccessful sales pitch, and the good news is that there's a movie night, highlighting how disorganized they are. Later that day, Jim, who has been fired, recalls their presentation and decides to engage with the company. He comes to their company the next morning just to see how disorganized it is. He proposes a deal to leave his job, from which he has been fired, and give them $20,000 if they make him the CEO and give him 50% of the company. However, they declined, stating they were not okay with the offer, as they even have a $16 million deal with US Robotics to sell modems to them. Later that day, Mike calls US Robotics about their deal, and they say they don't want it anymore, stating the modems are defective, which will leave Research in Motion in debt, as they have borrowed $1.6 million, which they used for building the modems for US Robotics. They later call Jim, and he accepts their deal to take 33% of the company for $125,000, and he and Mike will be co-CEOs. Jim arrives at the company the next morning, and upon learning that the deal with US Robotics has been cut off, he takes action. He calls them and proposes to sell the modems to them for $1.6 million. Furthermore, he adds a sense of urgency by threatening to sell them to US Robotics' competitor for even less if they don't accept the deal promptly. US Robotics, feeling pressured, agrees to take the offer under one condition. They want the prototype of the product that Mike is working on. As Jim realizes that US Robotics may have been creating a similar product to theirs, he orders Mike to get the prototype ready as soon as possible. Mike expresses concern, stating that it may take them a year to prepare it. Jim insists that they don't have that much time and emphasizes the urgency of the situation. He informs Mike that they have a meeting the next morning and the prototype must be ready before then. Confused but determined, Mike instructs the workers, and they work tirelessly to prepare the prototype before the morning is planned. Before the next morning arrives, Mike successfully completes the prototype, ensuring it is ready for the presentation. They arrive in New York for their sales pitch at Bell Atlantic, now Verizon Communications. But Mike seems to have forgotten the prototype in their taxi, which makes Jim furious. Thankfully, the pitch was successful, as Mike was able to retrieve the prototype in the nick of time, and they are amazed by the product. The next scene shows the product in production, rapidly rising and being named BlackBerry, as it was something unimaginable at that time. Having a cell phone that could send and receive email was beyond comprehension. We fast forward to 2003, where Research in Motion has become the envy of the industry, with everyone eager to work for them. Mike and Freegan pioneer the BlackBerry Messenger service on their device, revolutionizing communication with unlimited free texting on BlackBerry devices, leveraging data. Meanwhile, Palm CEO Carl Yankowski sets his sights on a hostile takeover of the immensely successful RIM, driven by RIM's relatively modest market capitalization of $45 billion. This pressure forces Balsillie to devise strategies to boost RIM's stock price, including aggressively selling more phones. However, The rapid increase in the number of devices sold surpasses the capacity of Bell Atlantic's network, which crashes the network. As the need arises to increase network capacity to support more devices, Mike expresses concern that none of their current employees are capable of handling the task. In response, Jim asks Mike who can tackle this challenge, and Mike suggests recruiting top engineers from leading companies. Jim takes decisive action and proceeds to hire head engineers from renowned tech giants, such as Microsoft, Google, and other top companies worldwide, striking a deal worth $10 million. Additionally, he appoints Charles Purdy as Research in Motion Chief of Operation to oversee the engineering team and ensure efficient operations. However, this decision unsettles Fragan, who values the casual and entertaining work atmosphere, which was their former setting that Purdy disapproved of. The team successfully addresses the network issue under Purdy's strict supervision, with the problem resolved and operations streamlined. Research in Motion managed to fend off Carl Yankowski's hostile takeover bid. In 2007, Research in Motion's plans for pitching the BlackBerry Bold to Verizon faced disruption when Steve Jobs unveiled the iPhone, disrupting the market. Meanwhile, Jim Balsillies' focus on purchasing the Pittsburgh Penguins sidelines him from the BlackBerry Bold pitch, leaving Laseritis to present alongside Fragan. However, the presentation goes awry, prompting Laseritis to make an impulsive commitment to Verizon regarding the Storm, a BlackBerry featuring a touchscreen. As pressure mounts, Laseritis reluctantly agrees with Purdy's suggestion to outsource the production of the BlackBerry Storm to China. Amidst tensions, an argument between Mike and Fragan escalates, leading to Mike insulting Fragan, and he said he is useless. Hurt by Mike's words, Fragan left Research in Motion, marking a significant rift in their partnership. The saga at RIM takes a dramatic turn when the US SEC raids the company, uncovering Jim Balsillies' involvement in illegally backdating stock options for engineers hired in 2003. Facing legal threats, Balsillies' reputation crumbles further when AUTO snubs him, signaling a shift towards data usage over phone minutes, which undercuts RIM's position in the market. Returning to RIM, Balsillie discovers that Laseritis has exposed him to the SEC, resulting in Laseritis becoming the sole CEO of RIM. However, troubles persist as the long-awaited BlackBerry Storms arrive from China laden with bugs, including a troubling buzzing noise when held to the ear. Laseritis embarks on the arduous task of manually fixing each defective phone. As time passes, it becomes apparent that the Storms are largely inoperable, leading Verizon to sue RIM to recoup financial losses. Ultimately, Laseritis resigned as CEO in 2012, while Balsillie managed to avoid jail time. Fragan, on the other hand, became incredibly wealthy by selling his stock in 2007, cementing his status as one of the richest individuals globally. The story concludes with the revelation that despite its former dominance, BlackBerry's market share dwindles to zero, with the production of BlackBerry phones ceasing entirely in the present day. The rise and fall of the BlackBerry, once comprising 45% of the cell phone market, serves as a cautionary tale of technological evolution and the impermanence of industry giants. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and leave a comment on my recap, and suggest any movies or shows you would like to have me recap next.